Namaste. On behalf of CarnaticLessons.com, I have a very special guest who is a good friend of mine. He is Ananda Nadayogi. Welcome, Ananda. So, he is very much involved with spirituality and he has practiced Nadayoga, and we are going to be talking about Nadayoga. And welcome. And we are all excited to know more about your journey, how you went into Nadayoga.
Thank you.
Can you tell us?
So, I was first initiated into Carnatic music. My mother enrolled me in Carnatic violin classes in my hometown in Kerala. And then for advanced lessons, I moved to Chennai and I started learning from Sri Lalgudi G. Raman.
So he has learned music from none other than great violin maestro Lalgudi Raman sir, who is our inspiration for many great musicians, right?
Also his son Lalgudi G. Krishnan, both are my gurus. So while learning music alongside, I had this interest in spirituality, in yoga. I had a background in my family, like I had so many religious books, and my father was inclined in spirituality, so I got the interest. And I always tried to connect the learning of music with the spiritual aspects that I am learning through other scriptures, Indian scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads especially. And I got attracted to a guru by the name Nitya Chaitanya Yati. He is from Uti in Narayana Gurukula. So once I had an opportunity to play violin in front of him, and he appreciated the music and he said it was so wonderful, that was like a big thing for me. And I asked him about the connection between Indian music and spirituality.
Yeah, that is what we want to talk today in our discussion, music and how spirituality is connected to music and all that. So even like a young boy, I was also very fortunate to have performed in front of great, spiritual masters like Swami Chinmayananda, Satya Sai Baba, and Mata Amritanandamayi, Ganapati Sachidananda Swami. All these several great gurus, and recently I did perform for Sri Ravi Shankarji. So it's like they all, because all these spiritual leaders and spiritual masters, they know the importance of music. And the one which comes to my mind now is the great song of Tyagaraja Swami, Nada Tanu Manisham Shankaram Namami Me Manasa Shirasa. The very essence of Nada is Shankara, says, right? And then I pray, and the sound is the primordial thing, the Omkara is a sound. So what do you want to connect on how you got initiation and what did you do with Nadayoga? Can you tell more about all that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So definitely it's a great experience to play music in front of such great souls. I have literally experienced that when I played in front of Guru Nitya Chaitanya Yati. He will be in total meditation. He will be sitting with his eyes closed. You won't even notice his head, but just the presence makes us meditative too, and that adds a different quality to the music. That's what I have observed. It automatically changes the vibrations of the sound that we produce.
Absolutely, yeah. So I've experienced that when I performed in front of Swami Dayananda Saraswati. It's such a blessing to perform in front of him, and he understands music and he sits in meditation. Exactly, the music is different when you play in front of great souls like that. So how did you connect? Like, you started your journey towards Nadayoga while learning music, or how did all that happen?
So I wanted guru to explain about the connection of spirituality and Indian music. And he invited me to the guru.
So after you played, then he invited you to the guru.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I went to the ashram in Ooty. It was a 1 month music seminar going on there during summer time.
Wow.
So every weekend there will be like a couple of concerts, and other weekdays they have some music seminars, discussions, maybe some shows or some things like that.
Wow.
So one day, one of those days, Guru drew a picture just with a single line, started, and he never lifted the pen. It just many different patterns, and he finished the drawing and he gave it to me, showed it to me, and he asked me to play that on the violin. So that was kind of shocking for me. I never even imagined of such a possibility. How to play music from, how to read a music from just this pattern.
Very interesting. Yeah. What did you do? Yeah.
But I was kind of I trusted the guru so much. If he said something, I had to do that. That's it. I don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
So I took my violin. I didn't know what I am going to do, but took my violin. I just looked at the picture meditatively for some time. Just my eyes glanced through the pattern, through the line, and I started just playing. It's like probably you might have heard about automatic writing or things like that. The body automatically does certain things when you let it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that kind of an experience.
Then a higher, you trust that, and that runs you. You are in the zone, and
Absolutely,
your
yes.
inner self
Yeah.
makes it work.
So I just started playing, and I noticed that I'm playing the raga Maya Malogola, which is the first Carnatic raga that we learned our basic lessons, but with all the gamakams, and it was more like an alap. But it was not a planned way of playing the usual raga lavana structure or anything. It followed the line, the patterns that he drew. So I felt like walking, holding the child walking, holding the father's finger.
Yeah.
So I got some guidance through these lines, and the raga was so beautiful. Those days there were no facilities of recording or anything. Nobody did anything, so we don't have it. But the experience is so live in me. That's why I just wanted to share that immediately right away.
Oh no, that's very interesting. And what was the teaching? What was he trying to teach you through that?
So from my understanding, he was trying to connect the visual and the audio.
Yes.
So they are not different, they are one and the same. When you see through the eyes, it's a vision, it's a picture, it's a drawing, or it's visual, but auditory also is the same thing, it's the same vibrations. So it makes sense when you said Nada Tanumanisham about Lord Shankara, Lord Shiva. Nada means the body of Lord Shiva. That's what it literally means.
Wow. Yeah. See, I had an experience like this. I did few concerts. There is a famous painter called D.K.S. Verma in Bangalore. So even in one of the concerts in the Navika Sammelan here, we did that. He would draw pictures listening to music, and it's like a feedback. When I played flute, he started drawing picture of Krishna, and then looking at that Krishna, I played something, and it's like a feedback, and it was such an amazing experience. So I can totally relate what it feels like. So talk a little more about Nadayoga and what is.
I'll come to that.
Yeah.
So I would like to bring in a quote by Guru Niti Chaitanya about music. He said that music creates solemn bridges between human hearts.
Wow.
When you commune in this musical rejoicings, the world becomes a heaven of peace and love.
Wow, exactly. Yeah, no, that's so amazing. Yeah, the music is something which you can express what cannot be expressed in words. That's what there's a famous quote like that.
Yes.
Whatever a mind cannot express in what you cannot put in words, the music can express that, right? So that's so amazing. Yeah.
So those days I had this inclination towards spirituality, I would say like probably to an extreme level maybe. I wanted to like, my role model was Swami Vivekananda those days.
Wow, wonderful. Excellent. Yeah, he was my role model too. Yeah, we grew up. Yeah.
So I told Guru Nitya Chaitanya ji that I want to take up sannyas. One day I just spontaneously asked him for that. And he said sannyas is not something that can be given or taken. It's a state of mind.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the whole month was like a process for me, which he consciously took me through. And then after that he smiled and he said, he just nodded his head. I just took it as an yes. And I told I want to be initiated from you. I really strongly felt that he is my guru, you know, that kind of connection.
Yeah.
Then he didn't reply anything positive or negative about it. He just kept quiet. And few days passed, and there was a concert when I played the violin, and there was somebody singing, and there was something. It was like a Carnatic music concert. So after the concert, it started talking about the spiritual aspects of Carnatic music.
He did.
Yeah, the guru. He was listening to the full concert in fully meditative mode. He didn't even open his eyes, but later on was explained everything literally what happened to the concert from a spiritual angle. So he was talking about the three different qualities of music, the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. You see these three qualities in everything.
Yeah.
Even in food, you see there are Sattvic food, Rajasic food, Tamasic food.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In music also you have these qualities. And he just casually mentioned your violin has a Sattvic quality. So I didn't really, those times, didn't really understand what it meant, but just felt it is something good.
Yeah. When it comes from a great guru like this, yes. Yeah.
And then next day morning, he was giving a discourse, a class. There are other inmates also in the ashram, and he was chanting the Homa mantra of Sri Narayana Guru. And he chanted the mantra and he wanted me to repeat after him. So line by line he chanted and I was repeating after him. So I literally felt as if a real homa is happening there, like a sacrifice is happening, fire sacrifice is happening there. So that incident is over. Later on when I look back, I could really see this process, how he was taking me to this path of Nadayoga. And then...
so you were able to connect the dots after...
Exactly. I was not aware of it when it was actually happening at that moment. Then another day, one evening after one prayer session is there. Every day evening, Sandhya time, we have a prayer session. After the prayer, he called me by name. My name is Manu. That's the biological name given by my parents. Manu, you come here, like that he said. So I went next to him, close to him, and he wanted me to sit down close to his feet. And then he just raised both his hands and he was just like blessing, kept both the palms on my head, and as if guided by something, I touched his feet with both the palms. So suddenly I could feel a circuit of energy
from his palms.
It's like a circuit of energy. It's just rotating through him, through me.
Oh, wonderful.
And I was sitting with my eyes closed and I could see very bright light around, surrounding all of us. It was bright yellow, golden color. And after some time, as he lifted his palms from my head, I also lifted my palms from his feet. So for some more time, I couldn't actually move from that space. I was just sitting there, continuing to sit in that experience. And after some time, I could like kind of move my body, and then I slowly started to open my. So that time he was still talking to everyone. I could hear everything that he's talking, but I was like kind of locked in that position for some time. Then he was telling everyone in the prayer hall that Manu has come here for initiation.
Wow. Okay.
And he was talking many other like about spiritual dimensions of music, about Tyagaraja. I so learned about music in general, not just Carnatic music, any music. He has like Beethoven, Mozart, all.
Wow.
Yes. All those things. So
what did you learn with Nadayoga after the initiation? What was your practice like? What was happening with the Nadayoga?
Okay, so then through different sessions, it's not in one sitting or something.
Yeah, for the listeners and viewers, we want to take them. Yes. So
one day he taught me about moving the awareness through the body from top to bottom through the major energy centers, through the chakras. He mentioned about the chakras, starting from the Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Ajna and Sahasrara, all the 7 chakras, and moving the awareness through the chakras, and how all these chakras are connected to some bija mantras.
Yes, yeah.
So bija mantra, it's a vibration, it's a sound again.
Which is music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how to practice that, and he mentioned about a Nadayogi. His name is Parvatikar. He said at that time. I think one of his videos is still there in YouTube. He plays sitar. So I was first time hearing about these Nadayogis, and I never heard about it. So Nadayoga, many people confuse it with music.
Yeah.
It is not just music, but music can be a tool
to take you there.
You there, exactly. And I am sure Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshit, Chama Shastri, all these great souls, they all traversed this path. They have attained through the path of Nadayoga.
Salvation through Nadayoga.
So there are many kridis, which are examples of.
Absolutely. Also, I know you have done this Vipassana course and many other meditations. So you want to share some of your experiences with Vipassana or any other meditation, and how you connect that to music.
So many techniques of meditation. I was fortunate, blessed to go through, learn under the guidance of many different masters. So I was with the Guru Nitya Chaitanya Ji for some time, and I had this opportunity to travel to the Himalayas.
Wow!
Along with a Guru Bhai, a friend of mine. He is also very much interested in music, inclined.
Wow! That's such a blessing, right? Yeah.
So wherever I traveled, I always took my violin with me. I played for many, great saintly people in the Himalayas. There was a Swamiji by the name Vidyananda. He was an All India radio artist in Bangalore, I guess. He plays Veena. I don't know the previous name, but he's known as Vidyananda. He lived in the Rishikesh Divine Life Society.
Wow.
So I probably lived around close to 1 year in the same ashram.
Oh, you were there for a year in Himalayas?
Yes.
So that must be a great experience.
So that's when I happened to come across a book by Swami Shivananda of the Divine Life Society about Nadayoga.
Wow, okay.
So his books are very powerful. I have seen
Swami Shivananda's book.
Shivananda. I remember another book that I went through is Brahmacharya, how to practice all those things. There's a book. So this one is about Nada Yoga, Tantra Yoga, Japa Yoga. So different types of yogas, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. It describes about many things, but in this particular portion, he talks about Nada Yoga, how to practice. And then I also came across an Upanishad by the name Nada Bindu Upanishad. Nadabindu Upanishad describes exactly the technique of the practice of Nadayoga. So I was so much interested in this. I wanted to practice, and also fortunately the environment is so conducive for this practice, and in the Rishikesh.
Yes.
It's so quiet and very peaceful place.
Absolutely.
Daily started practicing the technique. So it starts by listening to the inner sound.
Awesome.
Which is called Anahata Nada.
Ahata Nada and Anahata Nada, two types of nadas are there.
Yes.
Ahata Nada is the nada which we hear through the ears, physical ear. Anahata Nada is the one inner sound, right?
Yes.
So you train yourself to listen to the inner sound.
Right. So Anahata.
There is music inside.
Absolutely. Anahata is unstruck sound. You can translate it into English. Once you start listening to it, you never cease listening to the Anahata Nada. It's always there. Even now, if I tune to that frequency, I can still hear. All of us hear this Anahata Nada when we go to very silent places, like maybe inside a cave or a forest. If you just close your eyes and listen carefully, you hear a sound of silence.
Wow, this is just amazing. Yeah. So it's something like that I've always heard. When you know about something, then you cannot unlearn it. It's there. Yeah. And then.
So practice of this starts with a mudra called Shanmukhi Mudra. You plug your ears and keep all these 4 fingers on the face, 4 fingers above the eyelids, and the middle fingers above the nostrils, the ring fingers above the upper lip, and the pinkies below the lower lip, and you press the thumbs against the earlobes from outside.
So that you don't want to hear other outside sound, and then you train yourself to hear the inner sound.
Yeah.
So you practice this kind of meditation for long?
Yeah. We use this mudra for Brahmari Pranayama.
Yes.
By the humming, making the humming sound.
Yes.
So Brahmari can be a preparation for this Anahata Nada yoga.
Wonderful. Yeah. And then you practice this for a while? For a year?
Every day, not a year. It just took me like probably 3 months to get to very deep subtle.
And then after that you could hear the inner sound?
Inner sounds, yeah.
Wow.
In the
so
beginning,
is there music in that?
There can be music. I don't want to reveal the sounds because you can be biased of what you will be hearing.
Exactly. So it's personal for everybody, right?
But there is a very stipulated pathway. You go through all these things. The Nadabindu Upanishad describes about everything.
So you were following all that?
Yes. I was not following, but I could experience all of them in my practice.
In your journey. Excellent.
Yes, you start with the cricket sound, like that one sound is there, and then you keep meditating on the sound, very focused. The advantage of Nada is abstract sound, and your mind is naturally focused in Nada. You don't need to follow. In Vipassana or any other technique of meditation, you need an object of meditation. So any other technique of meditation, you try to focus your attention on your breathing in Anapanasati meditation. But after some time, the mind will start to wander, it get distracted, it goes here and there.
Absolutely.
This doesn't happen in Nadayoga.
Wow.
Because mind is naturally attracted towards Nada, like how bee is attracted towards honey. That's how the Upanishad describes about Nada.
Wow.
So while we are talking, if you hear some very good music, naturally the mind goes there.
Exactly. So the mind is always goes towards the Nada. Wonderful.
So as you keep listening, as you are more focused.
So what was your experience after you underwent and did all that? How would you feel? You feel like doing a big meditation session and rejuvenated? How would you feel after the experience?
It literally rejuvenates you. Just 15-20 minutes if you can sit. It really rejuvenates you, become more energetic and fresh.
Wow.
I experience that. and you also start listening to subtler sounds as you keep listening. The mind.
So this also helps you to develop your intuition power, your inner.
Yes.
You start to listen to your inner self more for guidance.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So the mind becomes sharper and sharper.
Yeah. So do you think any whoever is watching, mostly music students of CarnaticListen.com, do you think they can try doing this Nadayoga? They can practice, or is there a way where they can learn this?
Definitely. It's good to have some guidance. Somebody who can guide you through Nadayoga. But the ears become very sensitive to...
Which is very important for us to be in tune and all that stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Even sensitive to the subtle nuances of music, like the anuswarams and all. If it's not a trained ear, you won't even hear those sounds unless your guru teaches you, okay, listen, this is how it is. Such subtle sounds, your brain naturally gets tuned to by the practice of Nadayoga.
Awesome. So that tremendously helped you to learn music better. I'm
I
sure.
will say that, yes.
Yeah, wonderful. And then you also did Vipassana and other higher forms of. Oh, wonderful. And then whenever I do this interview with all the musicians I've done, I always ask them any tips for the music students, how they can improve, and how they can, can you give some tips to the students? Because you have been teaching a lot of hundreds of students in the Austin area. He teaches violin and he has 100 plus students, and he has trained a number of students. So can you give some tips for music students?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Can you give some tips for music students?
In one of the Tyagaraja Kritis, Saint Tyagaraja says, Sangita Jnanamu Bhakti Vina
Sanmargamu Galade. So the music without the bhakti, it's of no use. It's like a flower without fragrance, right? So what do you want? You say that the students should have the approach the music with bhakti.
Yes. When you say bhakti, it's absolute devotion to the music. It's not necessarily like an imagined God form always. For each person, the bhakti can be very personal. It's a personal experience. Spirituality is a personal experience. But unless you have that kind of devotion towards music, sound itself, all the swaras are devatas in our music.
Absolutely. That I totally agree. Yes, Swara Devata, Raga Devata.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that kind of approach is very important. That's what the students should definitely be aware of. It's not just a form of entertainment. There is much more to Indian classical music. It's the process of evolution of an individual.
Absolutely. Music really makes you a finer person. You appreciate everything. It is like wearing an extra glasses, and the world you view after you learn music is different. That's what I experienced that, and and you can use this in problem solving other things. So when you learn music, when you take it to the next level, you can always use all those skills to problem solve other things in life. That has been my experience. It has helped me like so much. Like whatever I learnt in music, I use it everywhere in life. So
violin guru Lalbudi Jayaraman sir used to tell, music refines your mind. The technique that you use, the finger techniques when you play the violin or when you sing the gamakams, how you are giving, that can change some of your thought patterns at a deeper level.
Wow, that's just
how you think, your attitude, your approach, your perspective, everything can change through the learning.
That's just amazing. That's really amazing. So it was such a pleasure talking to you, Anandaji. And any tips you want to give to the students' parents, where they want, there are many parents, right? Their role is very important. You want to give some tips to the parents?
Yeah, I'm happy that so many parents are aware of this, and they all send their kids for learning Indian fine arts.
Absolutely, yeah. That in this country, it's really nice that they are all doing they walk that extra mile and do all that. So that's fantastic. But any tips you want to give it to the parents for them to, because there are a lot of parents whom there is no music, who don't have any idea of music. So you want to give any tips for them?
So when I started learning violin, when my mother enrolled me for the learning Carnatic violin, the first day she told me, every day you have to practice for an hour. That's all she told me. Then never again she had to tell me that. I just followed that, and that has immensely helped me to, all the way through today.
Exactly. So I want to share one quick experience here. We watched the Lal Gudi sir's music academy session, right, where GJ sir and VG madam did the presentation, and one thing which really attracted my heart was like how Lal Gudi Gopal Iyer inspired Lal Gudi sir. And then they showed the first book, his music book. There was a picture of a violin girl, and he pasted that Lal Gudi sir father. So Lal Gudi became a synonym for for the music, Carnatic music, because of his father, how he inspired him to practice and all that. So the parents' role are very, very important, to inspire the students and get them all this and make them actually creating a space for their practice and facilitating them and taking them to the class and not missing and prioritizing music as music class. But all that is so wonderful, and that really it was such a touchy thing when I saw that music notebook of Lal Gudi Gopal Iyer. Thank you so much, Anandaji, for taking time and doing this for all the students. We really appreciate this.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.